Hi guys, it's Nicole and I'm back today with a single page layout. I am using one of the sketches from this online class that's put on by Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine and taught by Allison Davis. I am loving this class. This is, like I said, from the July sketch, and if you are in this class and you have the PDFs, I would say option 13 is closest to what I'm doing. I moved my journaling, but as far as like the photo swaps, that was kind of the one that I was looking at and going off of. Now, I saw the circles and kind of immediately was like, donuts. I've done this before. I'll post that video up here in the eye where it was from the 6x6 sketch class that she did. I swapped circles for donuts then as well. To me, it's just a good, like, easy, theme heavy swap. I will say that I find that I personally struggle a little bit in arranging repetitive shapes like this and trying to make them look balanced or random or, whatever you kind of want to describe it as. I feel like I just stare at it for way too long. So I went into my Silhouette Studio. I've got a couple donut files that I have used over and over and over again. I used them in the other donut video that I linked. I've used them many times. Kind of every time I do these photos, I tend to pull out these cut files. I will try to link down below, or not link, but I'll type out like the file numbers if I can find them. Odds are these probably are no longer available in the online store, so I'm not sure if I'll even be able to find the numbers. But I cut all of the like cake layers with just some like craft cardstock, and then my frosting layers are just a bunch of scraps from like Petite Prints or like the Bella Boulevard version of this, kind of any bright colored tone on tone pattern papers. I've also got one from, I think, My Favorite Things, where like the stripes are coming from. And just kind of, I tend to cut more than I need, and then I leave the file open because I'm probably going to go back and need to cut different ones, whether I don't like the color or I need a different size. So I don't close the software until I'm done. So this is kind of like where I was saying, where I fiddle with this stuff way too much. I did really try to keep an eye on the sketch and kind of make note of like where Allison had placed her circles, and I did kind of try to follow that, but my sizing for stuff is a little bit different, so I just kind of try to fit it into visually what looks good to my eye. And when I'm using like a lot of shapes like this, I take pictures with my cell phone to refer back to, because odds are I'm going to bump this, it's going to move. I did make like pencil marks around where my photos are going to end up. I don't like gluing a bunch of stuff and stitching on a layout when my photos are attached, because I tend to get like fingerprints all over them, or like I tend to just mess them up and then I end up needing to reprint them again. So for me, it's easier to just do all of this and then come in later with my photos. So like the bigger donuts here, I kind of did like an inner and an outer ring of stitching. I did some stitching on the background paper, just kind of picked different areas. And then because I have those pencil marks, if it was going to go behind the photo, I didn't carry the stitching behind it because you won't see it. So just kind of saved myself a little bit of work. And took this downstairs, stitched, came back, decided to mat my photos on some white cardstock. This is just scraps that I use from die cutting and stuff. I did start this layout a little bit differently. I actually started with my title, die cut everything, glued all the layers together before I even started the layout, because I already kind of knew mentally in my mind like what my title I wanted it to look like. So for me, that was easy. I just left off one of the layers for the letters, which you'll see here in a minute. the frosting layer, I just have the one layer of white on here because I wasn't sure at this point if I wanted to have like one prominent color of frosting depicted on the word birthday, or if I wanted to kind of mix it up. If I end up mixing it up and doing just kind of scraps from all these donut layers and stuff. Both of these are from My Favorite Things. I had posted a sneak peek to this layout a couple weeks ago when I finished it in my Facebook group, and I also linked to, for sure, the word sweet, because that was part of a clearance sale that they were doing. The frosted like letters, I'm pretty sure we're out of stock at that point, but My Favorite Things has been doing a ton of sales, so keep an eye out like if you're looking for these. I bought them a while ago, and I think this might be the first time I used them, and I really liked them. The frosted layer is connected to like the main letters, so you do kind of have to either strategically place your die if you're not trying to waste paper, or just kind of cut a bunch. This tiny donut die I have had forever. It's actually called Whittle Donut. Oh, I just blanked on the manufacturer. It's like Poppy Stamps or something like that. When I posted the sneak to this in my group, it was still available at Simon Says Stamp. So again, if it's available, I will post a link. Even if it's out of stock, I'll go ahead and post the link as well, just so you can see the photo of it. Because a lot of you guys have said that you're either not in the US or you found stuff in like buy sell trade groups or eBay, and having the image or even just the full name kind of helps you. I know that a lot of times in my videos I use older product, and it's kind of like there's multiple reasons of why I use older product. A lot of times like I buy something new and then I just don't really have a chance to use it for a little bit, or like the older product I still enjoy and I still like it, so I like to pull it out. Sometimes I get overwhelmed with a lot of like new releases, but I do buy, I would say probably like one or two collection like per seasonal release that's coming out. And then I like to do things like this where I stash dive and I mix up a bunch of stuff. Like this grid background paper is really old from My Mind's Eye. I don't think I will ever destash my Mind's Eye because I still enjoy looking at it. Like I still pull from it. And then any kind of B-side, like Doodlebug, Petite Print, Bellow Boulevard, Bestie, like those to me are just like what I reach for the most. And I will keep the smallest of the smallest scraps to do things like the confetti stars and stacked hearts, and even some of like the frosted layers I was getting out of little scraps. So I would just say if you're coming to my channel and you're looking for brand new product, it's kind of hit or miss. A lot of times I will order something new and immediately use it, or if I'm doing something like a design team commitment, sometimes that's newer stuff, but sometimes the stuff in our stash is just still good and mixes and matches and really kind of allows for you to lean into specific themes with things like this. This is a repeated tradition in my house. I don't know why we didn't do it with my daughter, but for some reason with my son, his birthday almost always fell on a school day, almost a week before summer's out. So it was like, I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle. And so we started this like donut cake tradition, and it's one donut per year. So I believe this was his 10th birthday. This was also when we were stuck at home, distance learning, that kind of thing. So I wanted to make sure that we were still doing this tradition, and because this is like a repetitive tradition, I know I'm going to have these photos almost every year. I will probably pull out a lot of the same elements when I go to do his layouts for this. So that's why I reuse like the donut cut files, the Whittle donut die cut. I just kind of change up like the sketch or the overall design of it. Now at this point, I was so annoyed. I lost my tweezers. I have since found them, but I had to put these Doodlebug, like tiny type stickers on with just my fingers, and I haven't done that in years, and I was like, "Oh, this is foul. Like this feels so wrong. I don't want to do this. I wanted my tweezers so bad." But I got them on here. They're relatively straight and relatively like spaced out, but I have since bought a 3-pack of tweezers off Amazon thanks to Lisa's recommendation, and found the ones that I lost. So now I feel like I'm good on tweezers, and I hopefully don't have to go through this again. It's one of those like just weird, really inexpensive tools that like you don't think makes a big difference in your process until you realize how much you use them. And when you don't have them and you have to go back to kind of doing things old school, you're just like, no, I don't like this. I don't want to participate. Flipped my layout over, cut off all of those little layers that were overhanging, kind of just took an overall look to figure out, did I feel like I needed to add any more donuts, or was I okay? I felt like I had a good amount of donuts, but I did want to fill in with some other type of embellishment. For whatever reason, it didn't occur to me to even go look through my stickers or die cuts and kind of find like phrases, or I get in this like die cut mindset, and when I'm done, my entire layout has pretty much been like all of the embellishments are handmade. I try to do a better job of mixing in like pre-made and homemade stuff, but on this layout, no, I was just blind and buried. So I used the Lawn Fawn hearts. You guys, these hearts are so old. If I can find them, I will. I actually have 2 sets because I use them so much. And then I have another set that I do like this super, super tiny size with. You can see over on the right, those like 4 hearts that make up one die. That's from the mandala die set from Altenew. If I can find that one, I'll link it too. Kind of just look at different die sets when you see them, because a lot of times they'll put like a row of tiny hearts or a row of tiny stars in like just a tag die set or a background die set or something. They're just good for things like this. So I just did stacked hearts, put the dark brown cardstock as the top layer, and kind of looked at them as if they were like sprinkles. My journaling is popped up on foam adhesive, and hopefully you guys can kind of see all the details going on with these photos. If you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe. If you have been around, you guys know I appreciate all of the views, comments, likes, and I will catch you guys in another video.